Thank you, Professor Parivalan, Professor Henri Tiphagne, Professor Y.S.R. Murthy, Professor Shastri, Professor Shamin, my good friend Devika, and student friends who are here, who research student friends, LLM students. I'm happy to be in your midst this evening. I was so happy I waited to hear YSR. It was a delight hearing you, sir. And I am waiting to receive the copy of your material because it was so moving. And therefore, after listening to you, I have thrown my paper out. And I thought I will be doing a disaster to this webinar, repeating some of what you said or getting into the data area because you made it so clear and so well done. A few points alone I would like to highlight here, and we feel a little, I'm sure Devika supports me, we feel a little lonely in this whole professorial atmosphere that we are in. Not that you are not grounded to reality at all, Professor Y.S.R. Murthy. Don't take me on that. You're all very good friends. But I thought I will go a little more on the challenges part, which I'm sure many of you share. It is not that we are saying something that you don't share. Many of you, I'm sure, share. But before starting, let us collectively on this day also mourn for several things. One, of course, is Colonel Rawat and his family and everybody else. It's something which has moved all of us across the country. And it's important when we talk about human rights, for human rights defenders to also in our own commemoration of this day to mention this. Because otherwise we are written off as being something else. It's very important to do so. Secondly, to also mourn the death of Father Stan and the incarceration of thousands of others, all for working for human rights. To mourn the death of many Adivasis, many Dalits, many Muslims, many persons with disabilities, many people with different sexual orientations, all of whom are there because they were asserting their right to equality in their protests. Today I couldn't attend court because of events, but I was trying to overhear a case that was being held. Go back Modi was a slogan in Tamil Nadu at one point of time, and because they participated in a Go back Modi agitation, there are law students who can't get enrolled and they had come to court for quashing, because there is an FIR against them for participating in the Go Back Modi protest. And for this you have an FIR. Our right to equality is not only right to equality, our right to equality has to be read in a triangle of right to life with dignity and also all the freedoms together. And that is the triangle which will strengthen the process of really ensuring that our equality becomes stronger. And there are many who have paid the price, and therefore I think this is the right time for us to also think about all of them. Professor Shastri is here. I'm just also coming back from Sikkim. You are from Sikkim. I'm coming back from Sikkim, from the Alpine University there, and it was very interesting to see how students in Sikkim react to what has taken place in Nagaland today, and ask, why is it that all this is happening? Is this the equality that we are talking about today? Is the questions that were coming up from students of a very young university. I think it is only this year that they have started the university in Sikkim. I was going through the chat box here, and the chat box is full of fireworks because that's the type of audience we are here. And therefore, while we talk about right to equality, I think it's important for us to remind ourselves that this constitution which we are proud of is a constitution which is a product of struggle, and there is no right that is won in courts alone. The rights are won on the streets and by occupying streets and continuing our struggles. And I can't have a better supporter than Shamim Modi for that in this assertion that I make here, because she has paid the price for that for several years. And at that time, I think there are two institutions I thought I will dare to enter, which we have not gone. One is the judiciary. The judiciary has a very big role to play in ensuring that this right to equality becomes a reality in this country. But I'm not talking about your judgments. I'm not talking about allocations. I'm not talking about representation of women. All that has been catered to. But I'm asking about what the judiciary is doing with its National Legal Services Authority, State Legal Services Authority, its District Legal Services Authority, and the Taluk Legal Services Committee in ensuring that equality prevails at various levels in terms of access to justice. These are institutions which have become archaic, which have become pompous, which are more interested in the so-called arbitrations and negotiations and mediations and nok adalats rather than ensuring equality in access to justice for the poorest of the poor, be they Dalits, be they Adivasis, be they minorities, be they sexual minorities, be they laborers, be they children, be they people in custody, which the law demanded from them. So this is something that we have all to cater and question and ask the judiciary. It is time you carry on with your judicial work. But in terms of your work on Legal Services Authority, it is time you start sharing that with civil society, academic institutions. It is they who will be able to take the movement forward for equality through these institutions which have been established. And I'm sure some of you in the positions you hold will not be able to say this because for rightful reasons. But we have a duty to say it because that is how we strengthen your hands as well. That was number one. And the second, and I'm done with it, Parivaran sir, don't worry. The second, and I'm sure Devika will have more time and she has much more relevant things to say. The second is about the decaying state of affairs in our national and state human rights institutions. I thought the 10th of October was enough. I thought the 10th of October was enough to indicate to the whole global community that the principle, Paris principle of independence in India has gone. Imagine the president, the prime minister, along with the Minister of Home Affairs, the portfolio minister for human rights, the portfolio minister for NHRC. I did not dare say this in the past because it was difficult to say, but there are several things that we have to say now. They are no longer an independent institution. They are an institution which is part and parcel of the government, echoing the interests of the government, which is shocking. And today, I was invited. The Honorable Secretary General invited, and I said with great respect, "Thank you for the invitation, sir. I know the invitation comes with warmth from your heart, but that warmth I don't want to reciprocate because we know the pompousness of what has taken place. I will have to pass through 3 layers of security to be able to listen to the President of my country speaking about human rights. But I would say it is time these institutions are challenged by academicians as well. I know a person like YSR Murthy shares a lot, or Parivalan shares a lot of the anguish that I have within me. But it is important that all academic institutions start doing academic studies on the state of affairs of our institutions and their role that they are playing. It's very, very important. I want to just share fast a lighter side of life, but a very serious side of life. Professor Arvind Tiwari will be happy to hear this. I had asked some of your students to go and monitor the police stations and see whether the CCTV cameras, whether they have been established as per the order of the Supreme Court 1 year ago. And in one particular place, and I will not name the place because then the candidate's name will come out. Parivalan knows about it very well. That candidate, that student of LLM, Access to Justice, went to about 5-6 police stations. All of them said, no, the Commissioner of Police has to, okay, you are entering the police station. And finally the person went to meet the Commissioner of Police. And the Honorable Commissioner of Police only said, this organization that you have come from, which is placing you here with this task, is a terrorist organization, is a Naxalite organization, is a Maoist organization. Imagine that is the day we are in. This is to monitor a Supreme Court judgment, a copy of which was given to the COP. The COP never even had seen that copy. They go to the DLSAs later, and the DLSAs tell them, sorry, who are you to enter the DLSA? Not all of them. Happily, not all of them. Now that is the extent to which the institutions that have been established, and we used to be proud of these institutions at one point of time. Today we are at a time where we are requiring more and more academic institutions to also join in the critical monitoring of the functioning of these institutions. If you don't do it, Professor Sastry, I appeal to you. Professor Y.S.R. Murthy, I appeal to you. Professor Arvind Tiwari, I appeal to you. And all the other professors and vice chancellors who are here, we appeal to you. If this country has to be saved, the institutions of this country, which continue to be the expressions of democracy in this country, which are refusing to do research, which are refusing to review laws, which are refusing to do interventions, which are refusing to do many things which they have statutorily mandated to do, I think if real equality has to prevail, then these institutions have to function, and it is your students from campuses. It is your researchers on the campuses, your research students on campuses. You have to monitor these institutions and provide the fodder for a larger people's movement, which will ensure that these institutions actually become institutions where justice delivery takes place, redressal takes place. These are the challenges, sir, today. I am not here to cry and say the challenges are that the FCRA has gone. Those days are over for us. FCRA will never come, and we will work without FCRA. We will learn to work like the ordinary people and go into jails like Sudhas go, like Stans go, like Telkundes go. But the day they will come out, they will definitely come out. And that is the hope we have in human rights. Human rights is not here to be crying about. Human rights is here to be hopeful, fight, occupy streets, and gain victories. And we will gain. The farmers' protest has been the best teacher for us of where battles are won. They are not won in the courts of the country. The courts of the country refuse to hear them. The courts of the country refuse to really hear them. The courts of the country refuse to hear so many other matters. But the people won on the streets around Delhi. And they have taught people like us more lessons than anybody taught us in our law schools. Thank you, Tis, once again for organizing such a wonderful program, and for some of you who really excelled and gave us a little opportunity to be able to hear you and be strengthened by whatever you have said. Tata Institute of Social Science, and particularly its School of Law, Rights and Constitutional Governance, has to continue with the same spirit. And people like us in the field are there always as your companions to do work with you and benefit fully. Thank you.
Thank you.